Who wasn't supposed to shine. In a small dusty village on the edge of the city lived a girl named Amara. Amara knew hunger the way rich children knew Wi-Fi passwords. She knew the sound of an empty pot. She knew what it meant to wear the same uniform for 3 years. She knew what it meant to study under a street light because there was no electricity at home. Her father was a tired man. Ever since her mother died during childbirth, something inside him had also died. But Amara, she refused to die inside. Every night, she whispered to herself, open quote, "The downfall of a man is not the end of his life," close quote. And she would read, and read, and read. The scholarship one afternoon, a miracle happened. Amara scored the highest in a statewide examination. A prestigious school in the city, Brightstone Academy, offered her a full scholarship. Brightstone Academy was where senators' children studied, where CEOs' daughters drove to school, where birthdays were celebrated in hotels. Amara arrived with one small box and 2 dresses. The other girls arrived with suitcases. She walked through the tall gates feeling like she didn't belong. But she did. The queen of the school. There was one girl who ruled Brightstone Academy. Her name was Vanessa Cole. Vanessa was beautiful, confident, and rich beyond imagination. Her parents owned chains of businesses. She had her own driver, her own credit card. She had always been #1 in class until Amara came. First term results were released. First, Amara Okeke. Second, Vanessa Cole. The entire school gasped. Vanessa stared at the list. Her name was second. For the first time in her life. And the reason? A girl who wore worn-out shoes. A girl who brought Gary to school in a flask. A girl who didn't even look like she belonged. Jealousy entered Vanessa's heart like poison. The bullying small. Whispers. Laughter when Amara passed. Village girl. Charity case. Then it became worse. Vanessa poured juice on Amara's only white shirt before presentation day. She hid her books. She convinced others not to sit with her. One afternoon in front of everyone, Vanessa said, "Know your level. Scholarships expire." The school laughed. Amara didn't cry there. She waited until night. She cried quietly into her pillow. But the next morning, she still studied. Because pain can either break you or build you. And Amara chose to build. The truth begins to shake. One day during a parents' visiting day, something strange happened. Vanessa's mother came to school. Elegant, graceful. Amara was helping the librarian arrange files when the woman walked past her. They both froze. The woman stared. "Why do you look so familiar?" Amara didn't understand. Later that evening, Vanessa's mother couldn't sleep. Amara's face kept flashing in her mind. There was something about her eyes, something about the shape of her nose. Something. She went home and opened an old, locked drawer. Inside, it was a document she had never fully understood. Years ago, she and her husband had desperately wanted a child. They were told they could not conceive. A poor man had approached them in the hospital. His wife had just died, giving birth to twin girls. He said he could not feed both. He begged them to take one. They paid him, and they took one baby. Vanessa. They were told the other baby died. But the document, it said twin female babies. The surviving twin, unknown. Vanessa's mother's hands began to shake. #DNA and destiny. Quietly, she arranged for a DNA test, using strands of hair from Vanessa's brush and strands from Amara's comb in school. The results came back. 99.9% biological siblings. Vanessa and Amara were sisters. Not just sisters, twins separated by 1 minute. Vanessa, born first. Amara, born 1 minute later. The rich girl who thought she was an only child, the poor girl who thought she was unwanted, were blood. The confrontation. Vanessa's mother called both girls to her house. When Amara entered the mansion, she felt small. Vanessa crossed her arms. "What is she doing here?" Then the woman spoke, and the world shifted. "Vanessa, she is your sister." Silence. Vanessa laughed. "This is a joke." But it wasn't. The documents were shown, the DNA results, the hospital records. Amara felt like the floor disappeared beneath her. Her father had sold one child to survive, and lied that the other died. Vanessa stared at Amara, the girl she had humiliated, the girl she had insulted, the girl she had pushed into loneliness. Was her own blood. The breaking point, Vanessa's world shattered. She remembered every cruel word, every laugh, every moment Amara stood alone, and suddenly her jealousy looked ugly. She had hated her own sister. Because she was brilliant, because she was strong, because she shined. That night, Vanessa cried harder than she ever had. Not because she was second in class, but because she had been second in kindness. The apology. The next morning at school, Vanessa did something no one expected. She stood in the assembly hall. She took the microphone, and in front of everyone, she said, "I bullied the smartest girl in this school. I called her names. I tried to make her feel small, but she is stronger than I will ever be." The hall was silent. "She is my sister." Gasps. Vanessa walked to Amara, and for the first time she hugged her. "I'm sorry." Amara's eyes filled with tears, because sometimes the people who hurt you the most are connected to you in ways you never imagined. The new beginning. Life did not become perfect overnight. There were questions, there was pain, there was anger toward the father who made that decision. But something powerful happened. The two girls began studying together, competing, but in a healthy way, pushing each other, growing. They both topped the state exams that year. First, Amara. Second, Vanessa. But this time Vanessa smiled, because she understood something. Your sister's success is not your failure, and your beginning does not determine your ending. Final message. Amara once studied under a streetlight. Vanessa once believed money was everything. Life brought them to the same classroom, but destiny revealed they shared the same blood. Never look down on anyone. Never mock someone's struggle, because you don't know, you might be mocking your own miracle. And remember, open quote, "The downfall of a man is not the end of his life. It is often the beginning of his greatest story."